Good morning, everybody. We're back with another video. I apologize in advance. I'm getting over a sickness and I think my voice is still a little bit distorted, but we're pushing through today because we are on a time crunch for getting everything done before I have to hit trail. So today's video is all things resupply. Well, we'll start out with just discussing what my resupply strategy is for hiking the Appalachian Trail. Then we will slip into the chaos of taking all of the madness on the couch behind me and packaging it into my resupply boxes here. And then at the very end, we will also go through my resupply bin and talk about the things that are going to be in that could, when I need them, be added to these boxes while I'm on trail. And then lastly, we will go over just my first actual supply, because all of these all the chaos behind me is also going to be supplying my first 5 days worth of food. And so we will look at my bear canister and talk about what is going to be in that for starting. So all things resupply and my first supply. Let's do it. If anybody was wondering and keeping track, partly because I'm getting over a sickness and also because, as many of you know, I love my coffee, but I am trying to wean myself off of that before trail. This is tea, so things have changed already. Okay, so just some basics about my resupply strategy for the Appalachian Trail. People do lots of different things. Some people send themselves boxes for the whole trail. Some people rely entirely on grocery stores, gas stations, supply shops, things like that along the trail to resupply their food and whatever their other fuel and whatnot needs are. I'm doing some sort of combination of the two. So I will be having 8 different resupply boxes that can be sent to me when I request them. My mother will be sending those to me. She volunteered to do that. Thanks, Mom. And then I will also, in the in-between of those boxes, be relying on towns. That way, I can mix up what I'm eating. I don't have to entirely plan everything out ahead of time, and I'm not locking myself into only eating the foods that I'm putting in boxes before I even hit the trail. I am doing the resupply boxes for a couple reasons. One is it's a money-saving tactic. That said, I don't know if it is actually money-saving with the cost of shipping. One of the luxuries I have, my mom and I went back and forth for a moment on this, and she finally won me over that she's just going to take on sending the boxes when I ask her to. So I actually don't have that cost. So if you're thinking about doing something like this, definitely crunch the numbers, because I don't know if resupply boxes are actually cheaper than resupplying in towns with the cost of shipping. So look into that. Another reason I wanted to do this, and I talked about this a little bit in my video about dehydrating the meals that I have, is that I'm fairly concerned about nutrition and health on the trail. And so I wanted to make sure that I was supplying myself with foods that, first of all, diversified what I was eating and also provided an extra nutrition level and had some, a little bit higher quality to it than some of the foods I might be getting at gas stations and things like that. So that's another reason. Something else that some people have been commenting on my videos, which is very true, is that resupply boxes are also a great option for people who have dietary restrictions and need to make sure that they have vegan options, gluten-free options, what have you, available. So that's another great reason for doing this. You can definitely curate exactly what foods you're going to be eating by setting it up ahead of time. So that said, it does take a lot of planning. So I didn't want to plan a full 6 months, so we've got just 8 boxes. The way I came up with the 8 boxes is I wanted to have like a celebratory box from home every 500 miles. And so that would be 4 boxes. And then I wanted some extras, so I pretty much just doubled that. So I'll have 8 boxes. 4 of them are quote unquote 500-mile celebration boxes, and the others are just going to be when needed. I might have them shipped to me in places that I know are particularly expensive, kind of like Fontana Dam right before the Smokies, things like that. But we'll just see what my needs are on trail. I will have 8 boxes sitting here ready to go for me to call my mom and say, hey, I'm ready for another box. Can you send it here and put X, Y, and Z in it? And she will send it on. So big thanks to my mom. Okay, so that's generally my strategy. It's a combination of supplying on trail and these boxes that I'm setting up for myself with a bunch of food that some of which I've made, some of which I haven't. So yeah, I think let's get into it. I'm gonna talk through one box. And to be honest too, part of what's happening right now is I couldn't see through the chaos of all the things that I had to understand what I still need. So as we're going, we're gonna figure out what I'm missing, and I'm gonna make my little grocery list for the last couple things I need in my Scooby-Doo notebook. So it won't be 100% complete, but we're gonna figure it out together, and I do think I have most of it. So yeah, let's talk through the first resupply box and what is going into that. So each box, I want to have 5 days worth of food, about 5 days worth of food in it with other things that I may be needing. For breakfasts, I'm going to be doing a combination of these Carnation Breakfast Essential protein packets. I got the ones that are chocolate. So I'm going to be doing that in a little, probably a Gatorade bottle with a sprinkling of nutrition. So this little bag has a combination of chia seeds, hemp seeds, and gamasio, which is like seaweed nutrition. And y'all know me, I can't go without my coffee entirely. Also, it just tastes like the morning. So I have some instant coffee also that I can sprinkle into the Gatorade bottle. So it'll be a breakfast mix with a little bit of instant coffee and some nutrition that will get shaken up into a breakfast. For lunches, and this is one of the main things that I think that I am missing, I will be doing a lot of wraps with summer sausage and cheese, probably cheddar. Now, because summer sausage can last outside of a refrigerator just fine, cheese not so much. I mean, it can for a period of time, but I can't set up cheese in these boxes 5 months in advance. So that's one of the things that I'm gonna have going on my list, that when I have these boxes sent, I will need probably cheese or something like that added to the box, but we'll deal with that later. For dinners, I have my homemade meals. This is what I'm using these for. So there will be 5 of these meals going into each box for my dinners. Some of the meals will also require some sort of a protein with them, and I have a ton of these chicken packets ready to go to be added for the meals that need them. For snacks and things, I have my homemade fruit leather, I have my homemade granola, and I have my home dehydrated apples that can go in. I'll do some combination of those along with, I have some random Cliff bars, RX bars, these Ready Clean protein bars. Just a combination of that will be my snack pile that goes in. And that's essentially what I'm doing in terms of food stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and package up these boxes with the meals, and then we will get into talking about each box's like extra stuff. Okay, so all my boxes have essentially all the food. I did run out of the Carnation's breakfast packets, so I will have to add those later, but that's okay. Now I know what I need. Each one got a smattering of the dinners with the chicken packets as needed, and bars, snacks, things like that. I think I've actually made up my mind just to kind of leave lunches for on the go. I might change my mind about that between now and when I leave, but for now, these don't necessarily have lunches in them, but they will have breakfast, lunches, and snacks. So that's a huge help. Now for some kind of random stuff that I had packaged up. One is that nutrition packet with the chia, hemp, and gamasio that I mentioned. One is the packets of instant coffee. And another one is I had some whey protein powder, and so I put those into packets as well. So I'm gonna add that in. I just know that we're gonna need so much protein intake on trail. I can sprinkle this into whatever I'm eating, breakfast, lunches, dinners, whatever, and get a bit more of a protein punch. So I've got enough of those for each box, so I'll spread those out. And then this was the amount of chicken packets I had left. So I'm just gonna toss those in kind of randomly. I can use them in dinners as I want, or I can have them for lunches. I can make up my mind on the trail, but extra chicken packets as well. And I think that after I do that, we'll be good on food. So let's do that first. Something I just found and forgot I had gotten myself is these Jack Links, the cheese and meat stick combos. I've got a lot of those, so I'm gonna throw those into boxes kind of randomly. Something else I'm going to just kind of toss into boxes for as needed are Ziploc bags, because those are just so handy. I have two different sizes. I have quart size, and I also have tiny little snack bags. They're the ones that are the square shape though, which I find really handy. These probably don't have a huge use, but I'll probably toss one of these in each and maybe two of the quart size, because these can get used as trash bags also. These are all ready with food. I have marked the things that I need on my Scooby-Doo notebook. And now let's switch gears, because I have a bin that is going to be my resupply bin. So let's switch gears. I'm gonna shuffle things around, and then we will talk through what is going into the bin. Okay, so in this bin, I just emptied it out. It's been full of kind of just a random assortment of things for a while. Essentially what I'm going to do is, while I'm on trail, when I realize that I want one of my resupply boxes, I'll give my mom a call, ask her to send me one. I'll give her the information as to where to send it and how to address it. And then this bin will have a bunch of random stuff that I may want added to the boxes. So it's the things that I couldn't necessarily count on, yes, I'll definitely need this at that point, sort of a thing. Things like a backup lighter, stuff like that, that I at some point will probably be needing and would be helpful to have sent to me, but I don't want to go ahead and put it in a box and have to number the boxes as to which one goes when. This way I can just ask my mom to put, these 3 items that I know are in the bin into the box that's getting sent, and she can send me exactly what I'm needing in the moment. So things that are going in there include duct tape. I have more extra water purification tabs. This is my backup filtration system. These are from Catadine. I have a ton of bags, and I'm just gonna put them in the bin because who knows what I'll need. I have big trash bags that can be used as a bag liner. I currently don't use those, but it could be that I switch systems on trail. These are multi-use. I don't know. They're gonna go in the bin. I also have quart size Ziplocs. I've got 2 boxes of them. This one is almost empty now, but I'll put them both in here. And I have the box of the little snack Ziplocs as well. I actually have an extra food cozy that I made. This was my first one and it was too small, but instead of just trashing it, I decided to hold on to it in case the other one fails. Maybe I'll still put this to use. It could be that I ask for it. So, into the bin. I have a ton of healthcare things that I can run out of and might need. So, things include toothpaste tablets. I have several types of hand sanitizer that I can utilize on trail. I have a couple things of floss, sunscreens, and a couple things of Vaseline. Vaseline is useful, by the way, for hydrating your skin, and also it's actually really effective to put on and create like a barrier layer. If it's cold and windy, you can put Vaseline on and it keeps you warmer. Fun tip. And I have a couple packs of wet ones. I do have a backup lighter as well. It's the kind with the easy pull trigger, the one that I like. I have some headphones because when I got the ones that I had, they came in a pack of 2. So I have extras and they are corded, which means that they have the possibility of kind of pulling out of the earpiece as they tend to do. So if the ones that I have fail, I have backup headphones that I can have sent to me. I have hot hands. I don't think, this is just my supply that I have at home. I don't think that I will actually be really needing these, but it could be that we get a really cold snap and I decide I want more hand warmers. So I've got hand warmers. I also have a dry sack here in which I have more dry sacks. So I have Sea to Summit dry sacks, but they say you pack your fears, and I am afraid of my gear getting wet and not insulating me. And I have no real reason to have that fear, but I'm packing my fear in my stuff, and then I'm also packing backup for the fear. So more dry bags. I also have a couple clothing items that I might decide that I want. These are sock liners. I have not needed them yet, but I also have not done a thru hike, so who knows what blisters might pop up. So I've got sock liners. And I have a North Face hat that I might trade out. It depends. And I have a head bug net because I know at some point I definitely will want this, but I don't need it to start with. The one piece of gear that's going in here is my summer sleeping bag. So this bag used to be, I believe it was 25 degrees, but it is so old and it's also synthetic. So it has lost a lot of its insulating properties. I have not treated it great. It was my first ever sleeping bag. And I would consider it maybe a 40-degree bag now, but during the summer, I might opt to have this sent to me because it is about half the weight of the sleeping bag that I have now with more insulation, the 20-degree bag. So this might be something I have sent to me, so it's going in the bin. And finally, this was a gear item that I had in my gear list and then took out for the sake of weight and need. But this is an emergency blanket. I have used it backpacking before. I have used it to line the bottom of my my hammock with it before I put my sleeping stuff on top. It just helps insulate from the bottom and creates another barrier from the wind. I also thought that this might be useful in shelters as a ground cloth because I don't have a ground sheet for a tent or something with a hammock system. But I did take it out of my gear list. So if it turns out that I change my mind, I can have my mom send it to me. So it will also be in the bin. Okay, other than that, I just have a couple random things. I have a bag of bags, like everyone does, that just sits around. I don't know if I'll need it or not, but it will be sitting next to the bin as something else that I could ask for. I also have a bag of random other backpacking foods that didn't necessarily make the cut to make it into the boxes. I didn't feel like I wanted to overload myself with food in those boxes, and also a lot of these require cooking, and I was good on dinners, and I don't at the moment see myself cooking and heating up water for more than just dinner. But I have a lot of things like little veggie chilies. I've got a bag of instant potatoes. I also have some of these oatmeal packets that are just kind of random. I also just found a random bag of like electrolytes, gel packets, things like that. And I'm actually gonna take a pause here and go through this and add some of these things to the boxes themselves because I have enough to go around and I know that that's really something I'm gonna want. So some stuff that I'm going to be adding to the boxes. I have some Noon Energy tablets. These have electrolytes and some of them have caffeine. I have a ton of these gels. I use these a lot for running and racing in the past. I might sprinkle like one in. This would be if I was just really tanking hard on trail and needed a hard pick-me-up. This would be what that was for. I also have GOO hydration tablets, also electrolytes. And then I don't know where I got these from. It's from Trace Minerals Research. It's called Max Hydrate Immunity Plus. So it looks like it's electrolytes with vitamin C, which would be great. That would be awesome to have on trail. It's electrolytes and an immune boost. So I'm gonna throw some of these in. All right, and the last couple things that I found in my pile here, and this will complete it all. I'll have gone through everything. I have multivitamins, and I've got a set of these already ready to go. This will just be for when I need a refill. I don't have to buy more on trail. I've got plenty, so this is also gonna go in the bin. And this is something else that I don't necessarily foresee myself using or needing often, but this is Instant Fire Starter, and it's a kind that I've used before. It's, it feels like shavings almost, but it's from Instafire. I'm not gonna start with it because I don't necessarily, like I said, see myself building a lot of campfires, but in the event that I'm wrong or I decide that I really want this, I can have it sent to me. All right, the final thing that we're gonna talk about is my first supply for the Appalachian Trail. It is coming up very soon, so I am getting that stuff ready, which is exciting. So one thing that I will say is in my bear canister, well, actually I should start with this. My bear canister has changed looks, and I'll talk you through that. I've added some personalization to it. We've got some stickers and these white strips like that and up here, those are actually reflective strips. So if I'm hiking at night or early in the morning, I can scan with my headlamp and we'll be able to find this in the dark. I got a little Yeti up top there. And I also saw this on someone else's YouTube, which was genius. Bear canisters can be a little bit difficult to open sometimes. They can be tricky if you're not pushing in exactly the right spot, especially if your hands are cold. And there's a trick you can use with just a random plastic card. Let me go ahead and close this. Where you slip the card between the lock and the little carrot that needs to kind of get around the lock, and it lets you slide it right off. I can do it with one hand. And I did make a little carrier up top with duct tape so that this card will just slip right there and it's home. And it makes it really easy to take the top off. So if that's a reason that you've been kind of spooked off of bear canisters in the past because of the difficulty of opening, there's definitely tricks to opening them easier. So things that are going in here, we'll start with my dinners. So I've got homemade cheesy bacon pasta. I have Fiesta chicken, and it has couscous in it. And with this, I will have a chicken packet that gets mixed in. And I have pizza pasta. And then also, because I ran out actually, but I have these anyway, I'm gonna use some of these little packets of soups. So I've got garden veggie chicken-ish soup, they're vegetarian, and beef-ish quinoa with mushrooms. So 2 little soups, and I have plastic bags in here to put those into for cooking. For snacks, I actually do need some more bars, and I've got that written down on my note, but I have 3 of these Jack Link's meat stick with cheese. I really like these. I also have a single instant coffee packet. I ran out of that as well, so I just need enough actually for that first resupply, which isn't bad. I have some noon tablets that I'll go ahead and start with. And then for lunches, like I mentioned at the beginning, it's gonna be tortillas and wraps of summer sausage and cheese. I already have the summer sausage. I will just need to get the cheese right before I start the trail. All right, and the only thing that is actually missing from this is the breakfast packets, the Carnations breakfast essentials. That is also something I ran out of and I will have to get more of, but that's okay. I can do that very easily and that will fit in here just fine. I didn't pack that with much thought. I just kind of threw everything in there. But that goes to show you, for people who are curious, with a little bit better packing, I could have, you know, my breakfasts in there, but 5 days of food fits seamlessly into the BV 475 from Bear Vault. So super happy with it. Also keep in mind, I do have some other things in here. My pot is in here still. My spoon is in here. I have wipes in here and I have my food cozy for cooking. So if I took those things out, I have even more room for food. So that's 5 days worth of food. I'm pretty happy with it. I've got my first supply ready to go. I've got my resupply boxes. I've got my bucket for the extra stuff that I might want. I'm feeling pretty set. I put a lot of effort into planning this stuff out ahead of time. I know that's not for everybody, but if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll answer. I'm hitting the trail pretty soon, so everything is getting really exciting and it feels tangible now. So, all right guys, thanks for hanging out and I will see you in the next video.